Earth-moving machines are designed for safety, but they're big enough to hide a man.
Just about dead. You could have killed me.
This mechanic is lucky he's able to complain. He should have protected himself by removing the key and putting a do not operate tag on the controls.
Bar at the bar. We'll get to that here in a second about
how
how do you train somebody to do something.
Control, use a grease gun,
are you qualified to run that equipment? Are you operating in the tag out lockout situations where it's like, look, I have a stoner. He's a stoner. We know he fails the test. But the dual diagnosis on this one is 680 says that they're qualified to do this. Just because they hot pink on there doesn't mean that they're not better than some dopey dumbass in the standards of the calc here. Here you'll have Delaware County mental health specialist and economic specialist. The training here of these here officers, this Sarge Mage and what have you, ends here giving the class isn't just about multi-domain and you guys sitting inside here for a shaking hands with danger, pyramid of stability, slip, trips, and falls conversation now, is it? It's also so you guys can do this with one of your case studies. Just like this is your case study, you guys are going to have to deal with some stoner, some alcoholic. And even under the circumstances of like, look, I cannot, well, military, this is a little different, but out here in this goddamn world where I can't stop the heroin from coming in, and I need somebody to operate inside there, I have to have gravity with me. Otherwise, I'm going to get clipped by that dead guy in there anyways. So these are our mass gaps, right? Like, this is the situation you do every day. When I, as Sarge Mage, take you out now and then say, bar at the bar, we're going to get you how drunk? How systematic in here? Did you eat? Do you understand your colloidal intake? That's a heavy piece of machinery, especially when you want to beat up on some house small stoner with it, because you should. This is the game. I mean, they're going to give up dues. They're going to say things, all that anxiety and whatever, nervous, trading off that they did inside of there, which you would think, that's our old hand had taken. I want to get that out of there until it comes back around on you. Like the fucking rattlesnake it is, it'll just mash you. There it was, just rattling off, and anybody with eyes in their head could have seen it from a safety officer's position, but they weren't there. Right, Masons? They weren't there. They weren't thinking with it. They were thinking, oh, I got to get this done for raises and promotions, other things. You think it may affect with drugs and alcohols and other situations? Of course it will. You'll make more mistakes when somebody actually evaluates you at the square. Here, the area of a square is for teachers as much as the parameters are as much X, Y, and Z, the area of that situation. It wouldn't much matter. You know, this is a lot to take on for whether this is for kids or for adults on the situation, but all the material is here. Now, we're just going to use this simple square, which all the angles are 90. You have a 45-degree angle, 3, 4, 5 rule works, whatever you want to do. All equal sides, equal angles. But squares never really happen. This is 10 inches, this is 11 inches, a 10-foot box, 11-foot box, but it still follows the same rule. You put a circle in there with a radial, this being 5, so or a side of 5 inches. You put it in there at 2.5 inches from center. This is 25 square centimeters, inches, whatever. It would also be 19 or so, 19.6 square inches inside the circle that fits in there, and that works. But if you try a 5-inch radial, comparatively the diameter, it won't work. Teachers, there's other types of math that go in there. You explaining to them the two types. Is this a kid's thing? For adults, I know you're thinking, is like, did you remember to put wave function in your side of your system based on the value of what x is when you log x? You find out that this goes back to the Greeks. You find out that the name is Rien Danner, whatever it may be, from 1673, the last person who had X in hand. You let Zeus hold on to it in terms of that environment and timelines on the point. Now, if you start adding those values like that, would it change the value? Go back to mental health. They are paying $100,000 a year. And an economic specialist would probably also make $70K a year. And a director of information technology at about $70K a year. Now look what you make in the dual diagnosis. Do you think you could do the same fucking job as making this goddamn presentation? I suggest some people get fucking motivated this morning.